Right now, your skin is quietly preparing to burn, not because anything is wrong with you, because of what you are. Step outside for 15 minutes without protection and your body starts to blister, redden, break down at the cellular level on the one planet you were supposedly built for. No other animal on Earth does this. Not the fox, not the elephant, not the crow sitting on the wire above you. Just you. So here is the question nobody asks out loud. What if you are not actually from here? Not literally, but biologically. What if your body is running software that was never quite finished for this planet? And every ache, every sunburn, every sleepless night is a bug report from a species still being debugged. Start with your skin, because it is the most honest part of you. Every other mammal that spends its life under open sun has fur, feathers, scales, or thick hide to shield it. You have almost none of that. Somewhere around 2 million years ago, your ancestors lost their body hair. The leading theory, championed by evolutionary biologist Nina Jablonski, is that early humans needed to sweat efficiently to hunt during the hottest hours of the day when other predators rested. Losing fur let heat escape faster. It was a brilliant adaptation for endurance running across open grassland. But it came with a cost nobody budgeted for. Bare skin under direct equatorial sun needed constant heavy pigmentation to survive. And once humans began migrating out of Africa into colder, dimmer latitudes, that pigmentation became a liability instead of a shield, because it blocked the vitamin D synthesis people now needed from weaker sunlight. So skin lightened in some populations. And now, tens of thousands of years later, you have a species with wildly different tolerances to the same star, all descended from bodies that were only ever fine-tuned for one narrow strip of the planet. You were never built for the whole Earth. You were built for one corner of it, then dragged everywhere else. Now look lower, your back. Lower back pain affects the vast majority of adults at some point in their life. It is one of the leading causes of disability on the planet, and it exists almost entirely because of a decision your ancestors made around 4 million years ago to stand up. Harvard evolutionary biologist Daniel Lieberman has spent decades studying what he calls mismatch diseases, conditions caused not by broken genes, but by a body evolved for one environment now living in another. Bipedalism was a triumph. It freed the hands. It let early hominins carry food, carry tools, carry infants across long distances. But the human spine was originally a horizontal structure, built like a bridge, distributing weight along a line. Standing it upright turned that bridge into a tower, stacking vertebrae directly on top of one another, forcing an S-curve into the spine to keep the head balanced above the hips. It works. Mostly, but it works the way a repurposed tool works, not the way a purpose-built one does. Your spine is a horizontal solution wearing a vertical disguise, and every decade of gravity reminds it of that. Here is a stranger one. Your throat. You are one of the only animals on Earth that can choke to death on your own food, because your windpipe and your esophagus share the same entrance point, and the flap meant to separate them, the epiglottis, occasionally fails. Most mammals have a much lower risk of this because their larynx sits higher, closer to the nasal cavity, letting them breathe and swallow almost simultaneously. Human infants are actually born with that safer, higher larynx. But as a child grows, the larynx descends deeper into the throat, carving out a longer vocal tract. That drop is what eventually makes complex speech possible. It is very likely the anatomical price of language itself. You traded airway safety for the ability to say the word airway. Every time you laugh while eating and something goes down the wrong pipe, that is not a malfunction. That is the toll booth for spoken language, charged to every human throat, every single day. So why does a body this improvised even exist? Why would evolution allow so many obvious compromises to stack on top of each other? Because evolution was never building a finished product. It was patching an existing one, generation after generation, under whatever pressure showed up first. Physician and researcher S. Boyd Eaton described this gap directly with what he called the discordance hypothesis. The idea that a huge share of modern human suffering comes not from disease in the traditional sense, but from a mismatch between bodies shaped over millions of years for one kind of environment and a modern world that arrived far too fast for evolution to keep pace with it. Your genome does not know what a chair is. It does not know what streetlight is. It does not know what a grocery store shelf lined with sugar looks like. It only knows scarcity,